Hello, I hope everyone is having a good Wednesday. So just a few updates for our weekly review for today. So under the What's New, just a reminder that the project is due. I collected it yesterday from Cohort B. I will collect it tomorrow for Cohort A. So make sure you're getting that turned in as soon as possible so that I can get that in the gradebook. I will be updating those today. And then also make sure we're staying up to date on the virtual assignments. I have two of them most recently been put in the gradebook. So we're talking about the Crusades crash course as well as the Life in the Middle Ages assignment. And then there was one the most recent assignment was one about the Black Death. So make sure that you're up to date on those. But our biggest reminder here, our biggest update that you'll want to make sure you are aware of is the Unit 1 test is coming up soon. So this is going to be a larger test. It'll be the end of a unit, so it'll be much lengthier than the first quiz was, and we are about a week out from that. So Cohort B, I handed out the study guide to you all on Tuesday, and so your test will be a week from now on the 27th. And then Cohort A, I will hand out the review to you tomorrow, and it will be a week until your test on October 29th. So keep those dates in mind. Definitely make sure we're studying up on that. And I'm going to spend the bulk of the video here today going over some of those review materials that I posted this morning to Google Classroom. So I put everything as I did with the first quiz, everything that will help you kind of study for this quiz into one helpful spot. So if you head to your Google Classroom page, whether it's first or second or whatever hour you're in, you can head to the classwork tab. Give it a minute to load here, and you can see that there's already a topic for study materials, and then there's this new post from this morning, study material for Unit 1 test. So you'll find three important things here that are going to help you out. I'll start with the one that was handed out in person yesterday and will be handed out tomorrow to my Cohort A, and that is the review itself. So this is the kind of the digital version of it. We'll give it a minute to load here. So you can see there are two sections kind of to it. The top part are definitions, and that's people, places, events, things that you'll want to know about. And then at the bottom here are some specific questions that you'll want to take a look at as well. So for the definitions here, you're going to want to define the following terms and explain their importance. So probably between 1 and 3 sentences, depending on what you're talking about here, making sure you're knowing what these things are and being able to identify them is going to be very important. Also, I should note, you are answering these either on a separate sheet of paper or create a new typed document for them. Because if you're handwriting these on the physical copy I handed out to you in class, it's not going to fit. You can try your best, but it's not going to work just on this front or even the back side of the paper. So definitely use a separate sheet here. Now for the questions here at the bottom, once again, pretty straightforward, but they're pretty broad questions here, or at least some of them are, right? So for example, number 6 is a pretty lengthy question. Be able to identify the goals, causes, outcomes, and effects of the Crusades. So there are lots of pieces to that. So make sure we're thinking about all of those things and able to describe them in good detail. But like I said, the questions are pretty straightforward. The one I wanted to point out, though, probably the most important one here, the reason it is bolded, is number 7. That question asks, how did the feudal system work? Looking at a chart, be able to describe what was given and received by each social class and knowing all of the definitions. That one's bolded because that one will be a short answer question. So keep that in mind as you're studying this question, particularly that it's going to require you to write out your answer. So definitely pay extra attention to that one because it will be worth some more points here. But yes, we'll have some time to work on this in class on Friday and on Monday for both cohorts. So we'll probably take a deeper look at some of the questions and answer some of the things that you might have. So. Heading back to Classroom here, the other two things then that are posted, first of all, are the notes. So whether you were in class or not, I know I've had a lot of people absent over the last few days. And so what I did is I went ahead and put all of the notes from this kind of second part of the unit into one easy to follow slideshow here. So once it loads here, we'll see that the very first page is our definitions here from the feudal system. So from king, lord, knight, all the way to serf and serfdom. And then the second slide is the actual chart itself. So all of those terms have been filled in to show kind of who is giving what. So remember, when we're looking at that short answer question, you're going to want to make sure you're aware of all of these or of these two slides here. Then we have the notes talking about the Crusades. So it has the definition of a crusade as well as our three causes, talking about Pope Urban II and what he did, the goal, and why you would want to go on the crusade. So I know a lot of people were looking at this as they completed their project. So hopefully we are quite familiar with this page as well. Then the most recent set of notes here, Cohort B, we finished these out in class yesterday. Cohort A will finish up the last couple of topics in them tomorrow, but we're talking about changes that happen after the Crusades, economic, political, and social. So we didn't go into a whole lot of detail here about some of these things, but do your best to kind of study what we've given and what we've gone over. I then also included the previous notes because this is a unit test. That means there will be older topics that will show up. So I included the Justinian notes, the Charlemagne notes, and the Great Schism East versus West split notes as well are all there. So hopefully that is all of the notes that you would need to study, as well as the textbook, of course, and any old assignments that you have to help you prepare for the quiz, or I guess I'll call it a test instead, since this is a larger assignment. Last thing then that is posted, as was before, we have a Quizlet with all of the terms that you will probably need to know for this test. So Unit World 1 Test World A, you've got your flashcards here. You've got the games that show up on the side, but there are 34 terms here. So there's quite a lot of things to know here. Yeah, these will definitely be helpful as well in helping you study for the test. So hope that answers any questions that we have. So keep in mind the dates for that quiz or for that test. We are a week out here. I am available to answer questions. Please email me if you have any. You can get started on the review. We'll have some time to work on it in class and talk about it, and we'll be prepared for it next week. So I hope everyone has a good day, and I will see you later.